Good evening, everybody. Today we are going to be covering Marvel, specifically a particular era of Marvel, mainly featuring Jonathan Majors and his involvement with the MCU and how his involvement has affected both in the past, today, and what we think is going to happen in the future. I'm Kyle, and today I'm with
Devon.
and
Diavione.
so I don't have a name for this just yet. I'm gonna figure it out, and then when I do, you'll find out. So I think let's just go ahead and just get started. So with Jonathan Majors, his whole case being introduced to us as King the Conqueror, we would also introduce him as Victor Timely, who was probably, as they said, one of the first iterations of King the Conqueror, to being removed completely, like almost off the grid, off the map, because of his court case, because of the case involving the person he was with at the time. And now there's plans of him, or rumors of him trying to come back. What are your guys' personal takes on it?
For me, it feels there's an empty feeling with him being gone because he can literally be anywhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's such a major villain in the MCU because of like his strength. And for him to just vanish, it's like, okay, I feel like he could be doing something right now because of his impact as a villain.
Yeah.
But it's just not there.
Yeah.
I feel like it left like a real plot hole, because especially in the Deadpool movie when they expose like the universes, and also other shows as well, where we've seen like characters being played by different people.
Yeah.
So they definitely could have kept him in, even though I feel like a lot of people would have felt different with not being Jonathan Majors, but they still could have they could have rolled with it, in my opinion.
They haven't done that for years.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's nothing new for them to pull that out of the hat if they ever felt so need to. I don't really know why per se they decided to go the route of just cutting him off completely. And I guess I don't really want to do this, because I also feel like he has earned his spot of redemption. But RDJ has also had some controversy before he even stepped into the MCU, to a point where nobody wanted to work with him, and someone gave him a chance, and he took it and ran with it and blew it out the water, and that still cultivated him to this day. So the fact that Jonathan Majors can't even get that same respect, or at least that same opportunity to showcase that, yeah, I can do the same thing, it's a little distasteful.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Like, again, nothing against RDJ. You know, that was his trauma, his thing that he had to go through. We can't take that away from him. However, this is more so on Marvel and Disney to say, okay, well, you can do it for him, but you can't do it for him. Why?
They pick and choose.
Yeah.
Well, we know why.
Yeah.
We know why. But it's more so like, hey,
They're not ready for that question.
No, I don't think they're. Do you think they'll ever be ready for that question?
Nah. Unless you pick the right people in that seat, more than likely not.
Yeah, but now they're trying to bring him back. Now that everything has kind of trickled down, kind of watered down, his name has been cleared. Now they want to bring him back. I think also because of the fact he's been involved in other movies and other projects, and he did so well, and people are still voicing John to come back. Now they're like, okay, I think we can do that. But I don't know. It's like a part of me is happy because I'm a fan of Jonathan Majors. I'm a fan of his work. I know he can do well. I was really looking forward to him being King because of all of the creative opportunity he can take with it. And when he was in Loki, he blew that character out the water. Blew it. Like I can go back and watch Loki just for him.
Listen, he always does his parts. Like,
he does his
every
part,
single
bro.
part I've seen that he has taken up has been amazing. Like, even in Lovecraft Country,
Yeah.
if you saw that,
Oh,
like, he does his thing. So I feel like he should have gotten his redemption with MCU, but
So y'all think he should take it?
well, they did him dirty.
Yeah. It's like a. I'm not mad if he does, but I'm not mad if he doesn't.
Yeah. Like, if he does take the role, that's some money in his pockets, and his fans are gonna be there for him regardless.
Definitely.
Like, I feel like if he did go that route, it would be like mostly for his own benefit and for like the people that do support him. But if not, then it's because like y'all did me dirty, y'all lost me.
Yeah, and I feel that's well in his right, and that's well deserved. I think we are now entering the area of conversation where when does money take the backseat to something like that?
That's a good question.
Don't get me wrong. You know, Disney money is Disney money.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
We don't got to have a conversation about that because I think we're all on the same page when it comes to that.
He's already really wealthy, and he can go anywhere really with his talents and with his background. He can really do anything. So I feel like for him, he could deny it. Just because like they did him dirty. Yeah. And then like instead of going off of like what he's saying, they went and ran with what they were hearing. Rather than saying, oh, did this really happen? Like, can we sit down and talk to you about this? Maybe just like give you a second to get yourself together.
Right.
No, like, nah, you can't be with us. Like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
So I feel like he could have gotten another chance. But this has happened with a lot of other actors as well that need to, be given these chances, but they're not.
1,000%.
Yeah, so I feel like he's the biggest one for me.
So you think he should come back? Do you? I know you will want to see him.
I would want to see him back, but I don't think he should. Like, for his own benefit, I think he should just sit it out. Yeah. Because like they did him dirty. Like, whether you pay me or not, like, why'd you do that?
Yeah, and that will be always be on the back of his brain. Yeah. I'm positive that would be on the back of his brain. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna take the money, but what you did to me was harsh.
Y'all fake.
Like at this point, as an actor, I want to say, well, I always believe that everybody should have a fine line with whatever, no matter no matter what side you pick, no matter how you want to swing. Cool, everybody has that right. However, I also believe in that same notion, everybody should have a fine line that's like, this is something you cannot cross, and if you cross it, you lose me. So I guess for me, the biggest question is this the fine line for John? Could it be the fine line for John?
It could be. I feel like he's still going to take that chance to get his role back. I'm not sure he might. Yeah. Just because it was such a major role. And like he played that. Yeah.
He was passionate about it. He loved it. Like there was a reporter I saw a clip of him being he was being interviewed by a reporter just like off the street, and he was asking about, the situation, how he felt about, getting cut, and then he threw RDJ's name in there, and given someone like John in a case like this, in the situation he's in, he gotta be able to talk his way to answer the question, but not cause too much added controversy to it. So it's like you could tell in his voice when he answered the question, like it still affects him to this day, and it affects him because he's so passionate about the character, about the project. Like it seemed like he wanted to be Kang, and when he got it, it was like, I can finally do something with this. And now because of what happened and arguably not even my fault, I'm thrown under the bus and I'm removed.
Mm-hmm. You got to think about it like this. Like, with actors, their face is everywhere.
Everywhere.
They have no privacy. No matter what they do, it's going to be judged. Whereas if it was someone smaller, they would have still had their job. Because he was so big, it's like, yeah, you're going to ruin our reputation, our image. You got to go.
Yeah.
Instead of them taking his side, like, some companies are going to take the side of their employees. Because, like, these are my people.
Yeah.
When it comes to these other big, like, companies in the acting field, it's not the same. Well, some.
Right.
Some will back you up. I've seen, like, with media, they'll back up their actors. But with this case, they didn't back him up. They didn't try to. They didn't try to hear him out. And that can affect you. And he's not going to forget that.
Yep.
Like you said, like, if he did take the role again, he would keep thinking about it. And then the people around him are going to look at him a different way, too. Because he left, came back, and it's like, you're back. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's no dodging that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a damn if you do, damn if you don't type situation for him. Because, like, if I was in his shoes, the fan in me would want to take that role. But, like, I guess as far as a respect thing, like, y'all did me dirty. I'm not, like, I ain't no coming back from that. Especially the way it went down. Like, you basically fighting me over hearsay. Over somebody saying something. They didn't prove it yet and nothing like that. All they did was just the accusations.
Just accusations. Like, I don't even think it was a full 24 hours.
So soon as, like, they started posting the blogs, so like, oh, we gotta let you go. You making us look bad.
That's it. Cut it. Done. Wrap.
Did him dirty. Trifling.
So how y'all feel about his intro into the universe?
So, when he first appeared at the end of Loki, I was hyped. Like, I was like, hold on a second. It took me a while to figure out who he was, just because it's been a while since I've read any of the comics.
Right.
But I was, hold on. He's Johnathan Majors! Because, like, I was fangirling. But I was super hyped. I was ready to see what he had in store for the future. And, yeah.
So, when he first came in, I was hyped off the fact he got casted. Like, I was like, he's gonna play this, bruh. Yes. I won't fangirl it, but I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm ready for this. So, and then, what was the character that what was the name of the one that they called him as? Like, is it He Who Remains? I think that's what it is.
I think so.
So when he turned out to be He Who Remains, and we found out he was omniscient, like he knew everything, and it was so funny because they gagged it as him writing an actual film script, and he's basically just reading it on as it goes along. I was like, yo, this is fantastic, and his performance, it was captivating, and it left such a strong impression that it made me super excited to see the switch from this happy-go-lucky troll into the fierce, solidified conqueror that we know him from the comics. And the reason why I was also excited because I understood where Kang stems from. He stems from Fantastic Four, being the son in the Fantastic Four, who basically drifts off and does his own thing. So I was like, oh, we're gonna get Fantastic Four, and they never get the Fantastic Four right. So I was so hopeful. I was so hopeful for what's to come. And he himself, he plays his character so well, and I can't give that dude enough praise for his performance. It's awesome. And speaking of his performance, the fact that he was able to play different versions of himself.
Oh yeah.
Both as Kang, like as the multitude, the council of Kangs, as well as Victor Townley, who was like technically you could say the first Kang before he became Kang. That man should have kept his role. He should have kept his role.
He can do his thing.
So, because of what happened to him and getting immediately benched, well, not even benched. He got thrown in the trash. They changed his script a lot. They changed the script and anything involving him a lot, to the point where he was basically non-existent. Even in scenes where where he would logically be like, okay, let's mention him because he obviously affected this. Nope. Nah.
They try to hit us with the Men in Black.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man. So honestly, just learning how things have changed because of him, like in Deadpool and Wolverine and the Void. He was supposed to play a part in that, like how Wolverine was sent to the Void, or how he lost his universe was because Kang was the one who actually wiped out all of the X-Men instead of the humans. I was like, man, when I learned that, I was tight. I was tight because it just works. It just works. But because of that one incident, even knowing he didn't do anything wrong, you went that far.
Plot holes.
I don't know, man.
So I have a question for you. How would you how do you think they would have gone about like having Kang if they didn't just bench him? Do you think they would have still been successful with the movies? Would it have gone downhill? Just because there was a lot of people that were against him at the time as well.
For me, I would say, given how a lot of people reacted to Quantumania when Kang actually had his first full movie, I think there would be a lot of mixed reviews to it. I think they will do incredibly successful because of the fact that how popular Johnathan Majors is. So people are going to show up regardless.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, you're going to make a lot, maybe from like the start showing or premiere in the box office off the gate. But then I see a potential future where they're not really going to be making as much money because of the fall off from Quantumania. And I mean, I like Quantumania. I liked it. I thought it was fine with a few critiques, but I thought it was fine. A lot of other people didn't seem to like it at all. So I don't know. I think it would have been fine, but
I kind of feel the same. It probably would have went well because how much people like him. It would have been, of course, it would have been people who critiqued it. Like, people are never happy with anything.
yeah.
They were like, why is he in this when he did this, even though he didn't do anything?
Well,
never happy.
You know, now that I think about it, his involvement was to set up Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, that movie was never really going to fail based off the fact of who potentially was going to be in it anyway. Like theoretically, we could have had Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come back for Secret Wars as both Spider-Man. We could have got, I know I'm getting to. I'm getting to. But we could have had them. They were supposed to be coming back. We could have had Iron Man. We could have had potentially RDJ could have came back as Iron Man. Or I did see somewhere that it was a theorized. It wasn't like reported or anything. It was theorized that they could bring Tom Hanks in as the superior Iron Man. You know, just to play with the whole concept of the multiverse and getting people who could have gotten roles but didn't, and bringing them in a way also shoehorning the X-Men from Sony universe into Secret Wars. So that way you can kind of kickstart the X-Men in the MCU. Like, I feel like because of all of those, and because that was such a pivotal moment in Marvel itself, Secret Wars, based off numbers alone, it was destined to do well. Plus, you also have the performance and leadership of Johnathan Majors as King, who was going to be spearheading it. Mm-hmm. I don't see how it could go bad when you have so many key players potentially playing a part in it. I don't know, but we're not gonna get that anymore because they benched him.
Yeah. It's like if Thanos would have just disappeared in the middle of the movie.
Right.
In the second movie, he just
and then
gone.
you're next with like what? Another minor villain. When everyone's asking, what happened to Thanos? What happened to that?
Like, nothing happened. Just ignore it. It never happened.
You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing.
Nah. Like, it's a big deal, though, because, you know, these giant villains that, like, wiped out the world or made such a big impact on that universe, for them to disappear without any explanation in the actual, like, story, what now? Like, you can't just keep going after that.
I mean, hey, in the last scene they say Kang will return, so I'm waiting on Kang to return.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting on.
But still, they went through so much to hop over his character. Now it's like, okay.
Yeah.
You went through all that for what? Mention him, something.
Right.
Honestly, I feel like a mention is enough for people. Would be enough for people. Just acknowledge he existed and he affected things and call it a day. Okay, so we can talk about Jonathan Majors and all the possibilities. However, now we got to talk about Secret Wars, which was supposed to be led by Council of Kings. Now is being finally brought in by Dr. Doom. And from what we've learned, our Ronnie Downey Jr. is going to be playing Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
How did y'all feel about the reveal of it?
I don't know how I felt. I was confused. I was flabbergasted. I just didn't have words because you say Iron Man's dead in the same universe. Like, he's dead, gone. Then you have this man that looks exactly like him. Okay.
I mean, I didn't really have no reaction towards it. I just paid attention to how other people were. Like, more people were, like, in the moment were excited about it just because who he is. It was it was Robert Downey Jr. But then as they had time to process, it's like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Like, it kind of goes back to the Jonathan Majors thing. Like, not even that. It's like you just had him play this character, but also within the same continuity play another character.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be different. It's supposed to be like another universe, like with Chris Evans playing the Human Torch in one movie that's like non-canon to this, what he's doing as Captain America, what he did as Captain America.
Yeah.
But to have like one actor play two characters in the same continuity can raise more questions. True.
Well, from like y'all, I was confused when I first heard it. When I first heard about it, and I first saw the video, I was confused. I know I was a little hyped because I felt like Robert Downey Jr. was one of the actors in my brain who could pull off a Doom. He's not the main one I want Cillian Murphy to pull off Doom. Kevin Feige, what you doing? But I feel like he's somebody that I could see pull off Doom in a convincing way. So when I first saw him, I was like, okay, it's weird, but I could see it. I think I see the vision, right? I think I see it. But then it's like the more I pondered on it, I was like, but you already died, though. What are we doing here? But instead of jumping into Twitter and social media and throwing out my think pieces, baseless think pieces, I decided to wait a little bit. And I remember seeing somewhere from somebody I watch, they go more deeper in comic book lore and history. There was a period of Dr. Doom who was played by Tony Stark, but it was like in a different setting, like a different universe where Tony Stark became Dr. Doom, or at least to that degree. So I think they're using that as inspiration to create this story to bring the MCU together for Secret Wars. But I don't know yet because we don't know anything.
Right.
And I also see it, given the fact that it's multiverse, so you can literally write any rule you want for a universe, and it's valid because that's their universe. So I could see this playing where this Robert Downey Jr. playing the Doctor Doom, playing Doctor Doom in a universe where Iron Man didn't come to fruition yet. Like Iron Man was gonna come, but maybe something happened and he became Doctor Doom instead. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you grace, and I'm gonna roll with that idea and wait for more information.
Yeah, there's potential. Just like what you were saying with the whole Chris Evans situation, where they even joked about how he played two different. I feel like they could go with that route as well, because they always have some sort of comedy in MCU. Like no matter what movie it is, there's gonna be a comedic area.
Yeah,
they could probably be like, "Hold on a second, you're dead." It could be just like a little hee hee ha ha.
I mean, they kind of did with Bruce, with the Hulk, with Mark Ruffalo. When he's like, didn't you look at someone and say, yeah, we don't talk about that no more.
Yeah.
So it's like, you acknowledge that it existed and it's a part of the history without putting so much energy on it.
Yeah, they always think about stuff before they actually do it.
Yeah.
Like they think about their actors, they think about what steps they're going to take next. So I feel like it's something that they're just not telling anybody yet.
Yeah.
They're waiting for us to, watch just because we're all like, oh my gosh, how are you going to go about this?
Right.
Watch it, see how they go about it. Like, oh, okay. Then they get our money.
I mean, they will get my money.
They're
going to get my money. I ain't
all my little duckies.
Yeah, I'm on the stance of I'm just going to enjoy the ride, see what happens.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is at this point. It is what it is. Oh, speaking of which, how did y'all feel about the Black Panther? How they decided to move in that direction of how to handle Chadwick Boseman's situation and his passing and the title and the mantle of Black Panther?
I'm chill with it.
Yeah,
I love Black Panther.
Yeah, I like how they did it. Yeah, I like how they did it. I didn't have no issues with it.
Okay. I threw that in there because it kind of also plays into the concept of people in situations where they're no longer playing those roles. So you got to figure out creative ways to kind of keep them involved, but then throw someone else back in there to make it work. Of course, may he rest in peace, Chadwick. That was such an unfortunate situation where even Marvel, it seemed like even Marvel didn't know what to do. So they went into that direction of a child being born and basically becoming CB Junior, CBJ, hey, RDJ, CBJ. And I was like, okay, all right, you got me there. So I'm very curious to see how that's gonna roll.
Yeah, when real life conflicts with movie life, there's not really any way for you to know that it's gonna.
Yeah.
Anything's gonna happen.
Everything's up in the air at that point.
But I like the way that they went about it. They made a whole storyline that was still captivating to, Black people and to Hispanics.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they also respected the deceased and made sure that there was a whole song and a whole big chunk of the movie where it was dedicated to his loss because he was a major character.
Yeah.
Like how they did that, they can't do that with other movies, and I don't understand why.
I don't know.
Because, they mentioned him, they said their farewells, and went about how his family was mourning. They could have mentioned certain stuff in, going back to, Johnathan Majors. You could have mentioned him, said, oh, something's happening right now. We don't know who it is, or we do know who it is. Boom, bang. Anyway, so...
Yeah, they just said he died at the end of Quantumania.
Yeah.
Which is like...
We know he ain't died.
It's like... I would be fine with the whole he ain't die if I know he's coming back. Because it's Kang. It's Kang. That dude's gonna find his way out.
Right. He's gonna kill him off screen like that.
And that... Okay, so... I feel like I'm okay with how he lost. Because the whole Ant-Man shtick was, I'm not trying to win. I'm just trying to make sure you lose. Bit. I was like, okay, you got me there. Cool. But now I'm just like, with everything that's happened, for that to be his send-off,
it feels rushed to me personally.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm really at loss for words there. It's like, because it's not like they planned for that either. It just happened. But it's like, once you kind of look at it with a little bit of a bigger picture, and you look how it ended versus and then you look at what happened next, and then you go back to think about how he died. Is like, that was way too weird. Like, I could see that if it was like vice versa, like the situation happened first, and then it's like, okay, this is how we're gonna take you out. But no, that happened the opposite way, which clearly sometimes you just don't normally happen like that. So I'm just like, that. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think the biggest issue is the fact that most of the people that watch the movies are also people that grew up on the comics or know of the comics.
Yep.
So knowing like what's gonna happen and then seeing something like that will obviously give you a giant brain. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Well, I guess that starts another conversation, because, like you said, you can't please everybody, especially comic book fans. Like they it's like they want panel by panel by panel. Now, I'm of the opinion that certain movies can be altered if it fits the story they're trying to tell. Like, the best example I got is Thor. They made Thor a goofball because they tried to make him super serious like in the comics, it didn't work. So they made him comedic and it took off. But you still got people who want everything to happen how it was written, which, as a comic book fan, I get it, because, you know, when you find your favorite stories and you want to see certain things happen or you want to see certain things translated into a movie after it's been put on page, and you want to see that, I get it. However, at the same time, if it's not fitting the story, you kind of just got to roll with your punches and just take it for what you can get. If you don't like it, cool, but don't go crazy about it.
Marvel fans are different.
Not for real.
Yeah, because there's a lot of books that are transferred to movies that are bound to be different. And people are usually like, they'll either love or they hate it. But it always happens with other like books. With anime, you know, it goes from manga to, you know, a whole series.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the MCU, you see our fans and it's like, yeah, no, we're not going to take this. That's not okay. Like, we're one of those like fan bases that's just not okay with change.
Right. This is not what I read.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Even though the MCU is a whole separate universe.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that though. We won't talk about that tonight though.
That's another story.
Oh yeah. Well, anything else you guys have? I think I'm good for now.
I haven't seen it yet, but how do you feel about the new Captain America?
Okay.
I'm hype. I haven't seen it yet though.
I saw it. What's today? Sunday. I saw it yesterday. Yeah.
How was it?
Okay, so I will say, I'm gonna go ahead and throw out that I've heard reviews from friends and people that I not look up to, but like I will give a listening ear because of where they are when it comes to film and watching movies and stuff. To a degree, I understand where they come from when they gave their not so great review and not so great rating. But of course, I had to see for myself. I like that movie.
Really?
I like that movie. That movie was fun. It was fun. I'll give it a good 8 out of 10.
8?
A good 8 out of 10. Yeah. So one thing I love about Marvel is they are smart enough to be able to write movies in a way it can serve as a standalone to bring in new viewers. So someone that may know about Marvel but don't really know Marvel to the T like other characters, but want to get into it, they can watch pretty much any other movie except for like a good certain ones and be like, okay, I like this. The story is good enough is cohesive enough for me to be able to fall in and understand it to a degree. I'm good. I'm hyped. I'm psyched. I think Marvel really did a good job at mastering that, at a way of writing movies that continue on from other movies, but make it work as a standalone enough to bring new people in. Because I think that's what they do. They always try to cater to the new audience, not just the returning people, which I feel like is something they need to work on. But that's how I feel about that in that regard. As far as the movie itself goes, oh man, pretty good. Visually, it was really pretty. I liked how it looked visually. I liked how easy it was to follow the story. I brought my mom came with me. We watched it together, and she don't know a speck of what's going on in Marvel. She don't.
She liked it.
She liked it, and she pretty much caught on what's going on. I was like, I'm proud of you.
Okay, Mom.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, Mom. Kudos to you, Mom. You did a good job. But yeah, like it was really good. Anthony Mackie, he's Anthony Mackie. Now I do understand, especially now that I've let time marinate for me to think about it. I do want Marvel to go back to pushing the envelope more, taking risks. I get where people say like Marvel plays it safe too often. You're basically having Sam Wilson run the same storyline as he did in the past, that he already pretty much worked through and completed that story. So that's like, now it's like you're trying to make him run through it again for some reason when you don't have to. Like, you're playing it safe. And I think they should start being more daring. They should start pushing the envelope more. And I really want them to not worry so much about the money, because the work they already put in already showcase that money is going to come regardless. Put more effort into making a good story and making a good movie, and then let the money come to you. That's how I feel about it. But I tell everybody, go see it for yourself. I enjoyed it. It was funny. There were some really good emotional beats that really landed. Anthony Mackie really did his part playing Captain America. Harrison Ford is Harrison Ford. I can't stop giving that man praise. He's a great actor. Yeah, I liked it. Go see it.
I gotta see it now.
I'm seeing it again. I'm seeing it again.
I have one last question. Do you think that the passing of Stan Lee played anything in how Marvel has changed recently?
That's a good question.
Like, would it feel different? Like, would things have been done differently in certain aspects?
I don't know. It definitely feels different because he's not in the movies anymore.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. Would it be different? I don't know. I feel like because he's been so involved in Marvel, I feel like at least the people who are in charge understand enough to give him the respect of keeping it to a degree how he would have done it, yet still keep the creative freedom to do it how they want to progress. So I think it would be roughly similar. I don't think it would be too different. At the same time, you don't know.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, we're talking about Disney, and Disney right now wants money.
Yeah.
That's
the mouse.
Yeah.
Mouse in the house.
Disney wants money, so.
But I do feel like it has potential to be different. With there still being similarities to pay respect to him, but it's also like a new regime, new time. So things are definitely going to change in some way.
Yeah.
with keeping things the same as well.
Okay, I think we'll cut it. We'll stop here for now. MCU is so large that we have so many projects to talk about, and let's go. Let's take a break, and we'll circle back here. We gotta talk about what's potentially to come. We gotta talk about the characters that's staying versus the characters that's may come back, but we'll say that for another day. Thank you guys for sitting down with us, or sitting down with me to talk about Marvel. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Kyle.
I'm Devon.
I'm Diavione.
And we'll circle back. Thank you.